So we were discussing about education in India. We saw education, higher education, secondary, higher education and all. Now we shall be starting with the health services. What are the health services and how health services has been developed in India by the government? So there are there were 1814 primary health centers and 360 community health centers in the state as on 31st March 2017. Government of Maharashtra also emphasizes on programs to strengthen health system in rural and urban areas through National Rural Health Mission NRHM and National Urban Health Mission NUHM. These programs include health determinants like sanitation and hygiene, nutrition, and safe drinking water. So, as per the count of 31st March 2017, there were around 1814 primary health centers and 360 community health centers in the state as on 31st March. But now due to this pandemic we are seeing that many college hostels, many colleges, then many offices have been turned into hospitals or into primary level hospitals for time being till this coronavirus gets away. So some of the schemes which they have been introduced in rural and urban areas are National Rural Health Mission and National Urban Health Mission. These programs have been providing the services for health determinants like sanitation, then hygiene, nutrition, and safe drinking water. So basically, to maintain a person's health, the basic things which are required is sanitation, proper sanitation, that is cleanliness. Second is hygiene, nutrition, safe drinking water. So these are the basic things which are being required for drinking for the person to stay healthy, and drinking water should be very safe for every person so that there is no harm to the person. The government of Maharashtra has created a three-tier health infrastructure to provide comprehensive health services. So primary tier includes primary health centers and community health centers. The secondary tier includes sub district hospitals and district hospitals. The tertiary includes well equipped medical colleges and super specialty hospitals located in major cities. So the one of the very important infrastructure which is required is the state infrastructure, that is health. So health plays a very important role. So they have introduced three tiers. So in that, first tier includes primary health centers and community health centers. Then second includes the sub district hospitals and district hospitals, and the third one includes well equipped medical colleges and super specialty hospitals included in major cities. So this was about the health services which are provided. Now after this, we don't have the tourism sector for our current situation. Then we don't have hospitality also. We don't have entertainment industry also, because they have cut certain topics and reduced your syllabus by 30-40%. So we don't have that. Next, what we shall be starting is the concept of cooperative movement in Maharashtra. Cooperative movement is the greatest contribution given by the state of Maharashtra to the country. Cooperative movement is an effective instrument in the government in the economic development of rural areas and improving socio-economic conditions of the underprivileged in Maharashtra. The basic nature of the cooperative societies is to encourage the values of self-help, democracy, equality, and solidarity. So what do you mean by cooperative? Cooperative means different people come together and cooperate with each other and help to grow. So the this is the one of the most important and one of the greatest contribution given by Maharashtra state to the country. Now, cooperative movement is effective instrument in the economic development of rural areas and improving socio-economic conditions of the underprivileged in Maharashtra. The basic nature of cooperative societies is to encourage the values of self-help, democracy, equality, and solidarity. So these are few of the basic cooperative societies that have been formed to encourage these activities. Cooperative movement in Maharashtra was confined mainly to the field of agricultural credit, but subsequently extended to other sectors such as agro processing, agro marketing, sugar cooperatives, fisheries cooperative societies, cooperative dairy societies, textile, housing societies, consumer stores. As on 31st March 2017, there were about 1.95 lakh cooperative societies in the state with about 5.25 lakh members. So, the cooperative movement has helped in agro processing, then agro marketing, then sugar cooperatives, fisheries cooperatives, then cooperative dairy societies, textile, housing societies, consumer stores. So, these are few of the sectors where the cooperative movement has been seen, and there have been about 1.95 lakh cooperative societies in the state with about 5.25 lakh members. So this was about the cooperative movement, and I think with this we complete the fourth chapter also. And you should try to complete the exercises. After this, we have the rural development. We shall start with the next chapter immediately. Now, next we have chapter 5, that is rural development in India. Indian economy is predominantly a rural economy. We all agree to this. Economic growth of the country is driven by its rural development. It is true that India lives in villages. The term rural development is a subset of the broader term development. The term rural development connotes overall development of rural areas with a view to improve the quality of life. According to 2011 census, the country's rural population is 83.25 crores, that is 68.8% of total population. There has been a wide consensus that rural development should be inclusive and sustainable in order to elevate the poverty. So, Indian economy is predominantly a rural economy, and since we know that maximum crowd is living in villages in India, and the rural population has been very successful because they have been staying in villages, and they have learned agriculture, and they have brought agriculture sector as one of the most important sectors to be considered in Maharashtra. So this was about the introduction about rural sector. Now after this we have rural development, in which we don't have this concept directly. We shall start from rural development in India. Rural development in India has witnessed various plans and policies initiated by the government as well as the non-government levels. Appropriate strategies for rural development will lead to economic growth and development of the country. Significance of rural development in India: public health and sanitation. So when it comes to rural areas, it is we know that there are many people who are illiterate, but it is very important to have proper public health and sanitation. Rural development helps to improve sanitation and hygiene, providing safe water, drinking water, and affordable health facilities. This would lead to an improvement in the quality of life in rural people. So, as we know that in the earlier times there were no proper sanitation facilities to the rural people. They used to go for their toilets and all in the outsides in the open, which created a very bad impact on the villages as well as on the health of the people. and it started creating many health issues to such people. So now they have made it compulsory that every house which is there shall have a proper sanitation and washroom facilities, proper drinking water facilities which is safe for everyone who is drinking, because sometimes people let out all the waste into the water, and that only water was getting drunk by different people. So it is, and there were not much health facilities which were available in the earlier times. But now, as technology is improving, there are changes in the rural areas also, and we are seeing that rural areas are also able to develop and are getting proper medical health facilities within time. And still there are some areas where there are a lot of problems related to water, related to all different factors. So it is very important when it comes to rural development. The first and foremost thing is public health and sanitation. Then next we have literacy rate. Literacy rate in rural area. Literacy is a powerful instrument of socio-economic change. However, there is a considerable gap between rural and urban literacy rate. Rural development helps to bridge this gap by making provisions for educational facilities at all levels. So literacy, getting the rural people educated is one of the very basic and important factor. As the rural people will get educated, they will see to it that the technology or the agriculture process or industries or the other processes which go on are smooth, and they are also educated and they know the use of technology, and they work smarter and provide more yield, so that everyone, the basic utilities or basic necessities of every person is being satisfied. Next we have empowerment of women. Rural development helps to reduce general disparity, meeting the diverse needs of rural women, as well as encourage their participation in community development programs. So, as we know, women are not given much importance in the Indian societies. But to reduce the general disparity, that is the disparity which is there, there is unequalness between men and women. They have always treated men superiorly and women inferiorly. But when it comes to reality, we are seeing that women are working more hard, and seeing to it that they earn more respect and they earn better positions than men. So it is very important that in rural areas also there should be development and education of all the women and girls which are present. Then after this, enforcement of law and order. Rural development helps to safeguard the rights of the socially disadvantaged groups through proper enforcement of law and order. So because law and order are there, it is very important to safeguard the rights of the socially disadvantaged groups through proper enactments of rules and laws. Means what? That different rules, that is the basic rules of people for living, shall be seen to it that these rules and laws are being properly followed and enforced in these rural areas, and rights are safeguarded of the people. Then next we have land reforms. Rural development ensures effective implementation of land reforms such as sealing of land holdings, regulation of rent, protection of tenancy rights, etc. This leads to reduction in rural inequality. So in the earlier times, they did not have to make any contracts, or they did not have any written sources through which they could understand. But now, as time is changing, it is very important to have proper contracts, to have proper written proper legal notices or proper legal contracts between the parties regarding land holdings, then rent, then possession, then tenancy rights, and these all things, these all things together shall help the farmers as well as the rural people to make proper development in this sector too. After this, we have infrastructure development. Rural development leads to further progress in basic facilities such as generation of electricity, road connectivity, irrigation, etc. So, rural development leads to progress in the basic facilities such as generation of electricity, then road connectivity, then irrigation. Availability of credit. Rural development also facilitates the growth of financial institutions such as primary agricultural cooperative credit societies, regional rural banks, cooperative banks. This is vital for providing subsidized credit facilities to the farmer. So, as we all know that farmers generally work on credit basis or generally take loan when they need, because they have yields only once in a year, and to have the yields for the next year they take certain amount as loan from the banks, and then they start providing for services, that is they start providing with the crops or seeds, fertilizers and everything. So it is very important to have proper subsidized credit facilities for the farmers who are staying in rural areas, because once they develop it will be very easy for the rural development in sectors of agriculture and banking. Then next we have eradication of poverty. Rural development leads to an increase in rural incomes and standard of living. This helps in the eradication of poverty. So what do you mean by eradication of poverty? Eradication of poverty means it is an increase in rural incomes and standard of living. So once the poverty factor is eradicated, poverty means what? That people don't have money to eat, people don't have money to have a proper basic needs satisfied. So removing these problems, these basic problems from the life of the farmers is very very important for improving the income of the people as well as for improving the standard of living of the people. Now next we have agricultural credit in India. The agricultural credit is an important prerequisite for agricultural growth. Agricultural policies have been reviewed from time to time to provide adequate and timely finance to this sector. Rural credit system assumes importance because for most of the Indian rural families, savings are inadequate to finance farming and other economic activities. So how does agricultural credit work? So we will see these factors such as classification. What is classification? On the basis of tenure means time period, and on the basis of purpose, that is productive unproductive. So let us see what is this all about. Types of agricultural credit. Agricultural credit can be classified on the for basis of tenure. So first we have tenure. Tenure means time period. It is a credit requirement based on the time period of loans. It is of three types. Firstly, short term credit. It refers to loans not exceeding 2 years. It is required for meeting the short term requirements of the cultivators. Example, loans required for the purchase of fertilizers, high yielding variety seeds, for meeting expenses on religious or social ceremonies, etc. So short term credit. Short term credit is available for not for a period not exceeding 2 years. Then it is required for meeting short term needs such as cultivators require it for yielding purpose, that is for purchase of fertilizers or seeds, for meeting some religious expenses. As we know that in rural areas there is a lot of religious beliefs of doing many things in the name of religion or social ceremonies. Then this is for short term. Then next we have medium term. Now in medium term these loans are for up to a period of 5 years. These are the financial requirements to make improvements on land, buying cattle or agricultural equipment, digging up of canals, etc. So these are for 5 years, in which the activities such as buying of land or improvement of land, buying of cattle for the proper agricultural facility, then agricultural equipments, digging up of canals, or all these things. For all these things, medium term credit is required. Then after this we have long term credit. These loans are for a period of more than 5 years and are generally required to buy tractor making permanent improvements on land, etc. So these are long term credits which are available for more than period of 5 years, and these are required generally to buy a tractor, making permanent improvements in on the land, then providing fences, that is making fences to the entire land which is there. So all these things come under the long term credit. So these are the three types of credits which are there under tenure. Now next we have purpose. Now there may be purposes, that for what purpose loan is required and how much amount for how much period it is required. There are the agricultural credit on the basis of purpose for which the credit is used can be of two types. First is productive. Productive loans are the loans that are related to agricultural production and economically justified. Example, purchase of tractor, land, seeds, etc. Then unproductive credit is for personal consumption and unrelated to productive activity. Example, loans for expenditure on marriages, religious ceremonies, etc. So productive factors include purchase of land, then purchase of tractor, purchase of seeds, purchase of fertilizers, other things which are required for the development of the agricultural produce which we shall be having. Then unproductive means for loans for expenditure on marriages, religious ceremonies, etc. So they are classified into two types, that is productive and non-productive. So I hope you have understood about the purpose and tenure, and now we shall be starting with the sources of agricultural credit in India. Now there are two sources. First is non-institutional sources, and second is institutional sources. Non-institutional sources means those sources where there is a very high interest rate, or where there are securities which are kept, or assets are kept as a security with them. So first we'll study about non-institutional sources. Non-institutional sources. The non-institutional finance forms an important source of rural credit in India, constituting around 40% of total credit in India. The interest charged by the non-institutional leaders is usually very high. The land or other assets are kept as collateral security. So we all know that there is a asset which is kept. Suppose if I keep gold with a goldsmith, so he will see to it that I get amount, whatever the gold is kept with him, according to it he will give me certain amount. So this is non-institutional sources. So in that we have another 2-3 examples, we'll see about that. Money lenders. Money lending has been a widely prevalent profession in the rural areas. The money lenders charge huge rate of interest and mortgage the property of the cultivators. So these money lenders are generally having a high rate of interest and mortgage the property of the cultivators, and has been widely prevalent profession in rural areas. Money lenders is one of the very old and a very prevalent profession in the rural areas. In urban areas generally people are educated, so people don't prefer, but in rural areas they generally tend to take money from money lenders. Then other private sectors. In other private sectors, there are traders, landlords, commission agents, etc. Credit from relatives, friends, etc. So these are the various sectors from which the farmers or the industry people who have their setup in the rural areas tend to get money. Then next we have the institutional sources. The general policy on agricultural credit has been one of the progressive institutionalization aimed at providing a timely and adequate credit to farmers to the farmers for increasing agricultural production and productivity, providing better access to institutional credit for small and marginal farmers and marginal farmers and other weaker sections to enable them to adopt modern technology and improve the agricultural practices has been a major part of the policy. So institutional sources, these are the legal channels through which credit is available. Adequate credit is available to the agricultural production and productivity which goes on. And there are also institutional money providers for the small and marginal farmers and the weaker sections, so that they are also being able to adopt to the modern technology and improve agricultural practices in the state or in the rural areas, so that there is more yield and more sale to the farmers. So in that first one we have National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development, NABARD. It is the apex banking institution to provide finance for agricultural and rural development. So NABARD is one of the apex banking institution which is providing finance for agricultural and rural developments, and this has been established right from the year 1982. National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development NABARD was established on 12 July 1982 with a paid up capital of rupees 100 crores by 50-50 contribution of Government of India and Reserve Bank of India. So this is a government institution which is owned by Government of India and Reserve Bank of India, who have raised a capital of rupees 100 crores. NABARD is an apex institution in rural credit structure for providing credit for promotion of agriculture, small scale industries, cottage and village industries, handicrafts, etc. So this has been one of the important credit structure which has been providing credit for the promotion of agriculture, small scale industries, cottage industries, village industries, handicrafts, etc. The paid up capital stood at rupees 10,580 crores as on 31st March 2018. 18 Consequent to the revision in the composition of share capital between Government of India and RBI, NABARD is today fully owned by Government of India. So this is a fully government owned financial institution which is the head in providing credit facilities to the agricultural and the rural development of the rural people. And this NABARD has been playing a very important role for the growth and development of the agricultural sector. So after this we have the Rural Cooperative Society, which we shall be starting in the next class.